Hey, what's up? So today, just gonna kind of pick up from where I left off a couple days ago, and we're gonna play some mid-range Grixis control sort of hybrid deck. And so I made a couple of changes during the last kind of recording stream. Um, so I took out the what was it? The Gear Hulk. It was kind of expensive to play, and I wasn't gonna get any real value out of the instances, I would say, that I'm playing right now. I was trying out Archmages. One game it worked out. One game I had the mana for it, and another game I just could never um, get the mana for the Archmages. So those I took out. Ended up replacing with an extra lapse and um, expressive here. So I mean, I guess expressive and Archmage charms kind of serve the same purpose. You're trying to draw cards, dig through your deck. Archmage charm is rarely used to try to counter a spell. Well, I wouldn't say rarely used, but you want to avoid using it to counter a spell because you want to use your cheaper counter spells to counter the spell, and then Archmage to draw the cards. But it's great. It's a good card. It gives you flexibility. So if you do need a counter, then by all means counter the spell with Archmage. Um, and like I mentioned in my other video, my deck profile, I wanted to try to avoid playing too many counter spells, because I don't want to be leaving up mana too much open all the time. I want to be, playing my threats. But being that this is kind of a mid-range control deck, it's okay, to have that. So in terms of my land base here, I changed it a bit. Now it's down to 23 lands, which is kind of low for this type of deck, I would say. Usually you want to be playing 24 to 25 land, but I figured with considered and expressive, I should still be hitting my land drops. Shouldn't have any issues with that. Worst comes worst with expressive. The cool thing about it is you can just, of the three cards, if you're really in the tight space for land, you can just both pick a land to add to your hand and exile a land, and you'll have your land drop for next turn. So expressive is cool in that sense. No other real changes. I added Teferi back. I wanted to try him out as a potential threat and a way to throw more cards into the graveyard. I played with him in the past, and I've always liked playing one copy of him. There's just times where your opponent cannot deal with the Teferi just continuously upticking, and there are times where you can just ult with him and actually win. Side deck wise, I haven't really made any changes. I haven't actually played any best of 3 games yet, so can't really comment on that. Anyways, let's go ahead and play a couple games, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it doesn't take as long to find games. Cool. Into our first game here. Pretty keepable hand. Granted, I don't like the double search, but that's fine. We're still able to do stuff. And we got the removal. I'll play a search and then just dig through our deck and then hold up mana next turn for crafts. Oh, that might change things. I think there's nothing on turn 3 he would play that I would care to be a threat to me immediately. I might eat my words, so we'll see. Yeah, so I figure who's gonna play this, which is fine. Expressives would be good here. Well, it is a good card. Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to answer the Archdruid right now, so he doesn't get to tap for a crazy amount of manas with it. Each other control, yeah, it's gonna get like so much mana, so I'm gonna just try to dig for a land here. Okay, for a land, let's just go ahead and do this. Yeah, Inferno is gonna be a pretty good removal card. I wish I drew my Fable passages to hit the Land of War Elf earlier, but this is fine. That's also fine. Grab a land drop. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to memory lapse and remove any big potential threat, and not play the Teferi right now. That's the only thing Teferi's bad against, is when your opponent has a bunch of weenies. It's gonna be a little hard to deal with. Go ahead and do that. This may be something we want to remove. Our short shepherd with the druid has always been sort of a big issue, so we'll take the hit here. This next turn, if he wanted to, he can pump everything to a 5/5, and that's just not something we're going to deal with. Thoughtseize. Fortunately, I don't think I'll be playing Thoughtseize. I will send that to the grave at the moment. Reason why is, I drew another one. So I'm gonna try to pump our graveyard for answers.
Think fast.
Don't need that. So as you can see, I've been curving out okay with my mana base. You know, thanks to the searches. So I mean, I was gonna get land stuck with 2 lands, or I mean, I could have went with expressive if we were playing a slightly slower matchup, but unfortunately we're not. So let's see what he does here. If he decides to swing everything at the fairy, that's fine. He made a mistake there.
Don't worry, I'll think of something.
Guess I don't need another land.
This used to be easier.
Bolus would be nice to kill this. Yeah, we're gonna trade. I made another mistake here. I didn't count my lands.
Love a good puzzle.
Oh, just going to try this. Yeah, I think this matchup we're probably gonna end up losing here, namely because we don't really have a good way to remove his board here. I didn't draw any fatals, so can't be countered. Nice. Oh, we can try this. What we're digging for here is perhaps a fatal push. Consider's not gonna do it. Yeah, they got this one. Just gonna pump everything to huge creature, tap this, get a billion mana. Unfortunately, I don't have any responses to a bunch of 7/7s.
Time to improvise.
Yeah, that's not gonna do it. Alright, he's got the first game. So the one thing about this particular deck is it has a harder time dealing with aggro, because I am not really playing any sweepers in the main deck. So that's just something you have to deal with game 1. Hopefully you can stabilize, control the board, and be okay from there. Okay, we are really drawing a lot of these, but that's fine. I think it's a keepable hand. So we're pretty good against a mid-range to maybe a light aggro deck. Gruul. It stands to reason he could potentially play a threat, or not a threat, but something turn 1 that we may want to just respond to. It's fine. don't think we want to reveal our red source. We can do, because if he's gonna play this again, he might just hit one of the other sources that I need. So I'm okay with playing, just have him think that I'm playing the mirror, but we're actually playing Grixis. Just want to tap a land to destroy it. We do play a ton of basics, so joke's on him. Choices here is to either shock ourselves or just play a basic mountain. I think we're okay with playing a basic mountain. Alright. We can shock ourselves next turn. Seems doing that. Seems like a pretty slow deck. If that's the case, then I think Bolus is going to be pretty good here.
In exchange for eternal servitude.
It looks like he didn't draw a land, so he's playing something kind of expensive, but not drawing a land. Nicol Bolas, I would say, is one of the best Planeswalker, but his casting cost is very, very expensive. Golems. Okay. So it looks like his hand was just too slow. And he just wasn't able to play any threats that we had to answer immediately. That's fine. Got our first win there. Yeah, another keepable hand. We have lay search and memory lapse. I'm gonna try it. So he's playing Is It, but he had 0 responses to that. That's quite interesting. I was expecting like some sort of shark or something immediately. We'll keep. No reason to shock herself here. Maybe he has a shark. Nope, no shark either. If we get in our land, I think we'll be good. I do like Thoughtseize. I do definitely like Thoughtseize. Sure. It's a bit of a we're missing our land drop, but we are getting some information. Hopefully, if he counters this, then I think we'll be okay. What does he have? Quite a few things. We're not going to discard the Magnum Opus, and I think we would hit this. The Visits. Archmage Charm is going to sort of pose a threat to us. There's the mana for it, unfortunately. I'm going to force it. I think he has easier times dealing with Bolus, so if he Archmage Charms the Bolus, I think we can safely play the Teferi next turn. Or potentially Big Bolus. This deck has way more answers to creatures, and so like, you know, if he if I played Teferi and he countered it, you know, he can always leave up Wrath of God to do whatever. I think I'm okay with this. I'm gonna get a potentially. Don't think his delirium either. Yeah, so him not having delirium is fine with me. Yes, his Wrath of God is essentially dead for a while. We're in a good position. He's got a Vantress, that's fine. Just keeping one up there. What do I need? I could play a land. I could keep the land. Uh-oh. Okay. I don't think I need the land. Let's try that threat. That's fine.
I don't have a plan.
We're gonna plus to fairy first, see what's up.
Don't worry, I'll think of something.
I think I'm okay with discarding the Croxa. And just leave our mana open just in case. Maybe a potential counter spell or something.
Ideas like
I don't think I need more lands. So. I do not mind this. It's fine.
Think fast.
So, thought process there. There's nothing we're gonna probably fatal in this game. That grass doesn't answer. We put our mana up, just so we can search, which is another plus.
Don't worry, I'll think of something.
Yeah, I don't think I need that many graphs here. Oh, okay, that's unfortunate. Maybe I should have done that first. I'm gonna consider. Yeah, I don't wanna. Oh, did it incorrectly, so it's my fault there. Just want to consider it again. Oh yeah, we'll take it. Oh, oh, I'm so bad with consider sometimes. I messed that one purely up. So I'm so used to opt and other things that I keep thinking it's the opposite way, but it's not. That was horrible. That's fine. We have memory lapse. We can protect it. I don't know what he can draw that will save him. I'm gonna start putting pressure on his life. That's fine.
Think fast.
And if he doesn't deal with the fairy, we're just gonna ult and smack him a few times with this. Yeah. So I gotta think it in a way of rather than adding, take action doesn't mean adding to hand. It means the opposite. You're gonna dump it into the graveyard. So both times I kind of messed up there. I wanted to dump the consider to the graveyard just as, food for Croxa without having to spend another mana to cast it. I mean, I could have. It's not a huge deal, but I wanted to do something else. Yeah, that time either playing Croxa or Bolus would have been fine. Cruxa, I guess, was a better choice since it left me with more mana open. But yeah, I kind of messed up on my end there. Yeah, I'm gonna shock myself here to get the ball rolling. I don't think I need to remove it immediately at the moment. Decline. So we're gonna add this to hand. Let's try not to mess that up. Okay, so we're cool hand. We're getting a lot of like low mana stuff. Dang, we're really getting our removal. Might as well add it to our hand. I'm gonna go ahead and expressive here and see what we get. Another. Unfortunately, we cannot cast anything. I do want to add bolus to hand. Put this one in our library because we might actually need it, but I don't. Since we're not going to be doing that, we're just gonna exile that. Call it a day. That was unfortunate. Take the 4 damage. Stitch. Oh, I need the black. Very nice. I'm gonna cast bolus to be both a defender and to hit his hand. Stands to reason. Comes at me. Okay. Fuck. I do think I want to Kolaghan's command next turn. I unfortunately cannot deal with that, so I'll do this. Draw a card, hit a zombie. Okay, I forgot that. I thought it adds it to hand rather than discarding it, I guess. Let's just try this.
Let's make this quick. Time to improvise.
I think I've made a couple misplays. That's fine. I'll indeed block with the Stitch. Let me mill, because I can get rid of this with... I'm going to save Fatal for the Faceless. And then we're going to try to do that. Don't need this. That's a good card.
Gods once, I am one again. I outsmarted you eons. Time to improvise.
Cool. So ways to block, ways to defend ourselves. We have Teferi to... If he keeps spending his time doing that, I think I'm okay with that. Sure. Let's see what he does. I'm gonna just fail it.
Don't worry, I'll think of something.
I think I'm gonna do this. Because I don't think I'm gonna be able to cast that safely without straight up dying. We're gonna play the extraordinarily greed game. Because we're gonna force him to essentially lose a land off of the bolus. So he'll be down to 2 mana. Unless he keeps, you know, doing something with it, but... Yeah, oh, there you go. So we got rid of 3 cards with the Kolagans. On top of, with the bolus, we can just start exiling his land. So he wouldn't really pose a threat to us after a while. Alright, I'm gonna do maybe 1 more game. Do a short little video today just to test the deck out a little bit and get a couple of my quests done. Okay, yeah, we can keep. Yep. A good old shock myself twice. Gearhulk. Gearhulk, I can. It's too early in the game. I think Narset's the correct hit here. I think I can Crocs the next turn. He's not going to be playing any creatures that I need to deal with. Turn after that, I can try to Prismari, discard some cards, and maybe escape the Crocs. So we'll see how much that goes through here. There is a potential for me to just Remorse. You know, I don't think since he's playing Jeskai, there's not really anything on turn 2 that they would do that I would care. They usually just have you know, another mana open for another counter spell. This way I can, you know, get a little bit more value out of the Croxa here and force him to make some decisions. It might be bad if he discards a card that he can later flash back with the Gearhulk. Oh, he discarded Gearhulk. It's perfect, so that I don't have to deal with that anymore. So 2 cards in grave. So if he doesn't do anything, we're gonna Prismari command. We're gonna probably get rid of this. Maybe the Memory Lapse. That will put enough cards for us to Croxa next turn. He doesn't counter us here. We don't need this and don't need that. go ahead and grab the black. That gives us just enough to Croxa. It's most likely he's gonna counter it. I don't know if he'll be able to unholy heat this. Oh, he can. Okay. I guess that was my mistake. I should have maybe done the bolus first. I guess the result's the same. It's not like I really lost anything for playing Croxa. If you know what I mean. Here, I could try to grab another land and then drop the bolus. Let's try that. It's pretty good. Oh! I accidentally exiled the wrong one. Oh! I need to read my cards better, or read the effects a little better. Don't need that. Oh! Damn. That would have been perfect. Shoot. Alright, well I hope this doesn't bite us in the butt later. I mean, we're at a card advantage. He's at a deficit. Unfortunately, I screwed that one up. I'm gonna do this. Because we're gonna keep it for memory lapse at this point. To see what he has in his hand. He really wants to counter it. I'll try this. I'll force him to draw it again. I think he has a Teferi in hand. No. Huh. Okay. Quite interesting. I can try to Croxa again. Why not? Oh, he has to Archmage Charm here. Okay. Does it. It's fine. I think he's trying to draw an Unholy Heat. But now he has to deal with this. If he doesn't have Unholy Heat, then he's gonna have to somehow deal with that. We're gonna go ahead and just swing in first. Get the trigger off. He'll either double heal this for us, maybe? That's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. What we're trying to do now is this point is just gonna finish him. Things would have been a little bit better if I didn't screw up my play, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know where he was going with that. So even on 4 lands, I was able to still beat him. It's just, wow, that was a misread on my part. All right, well, you know, lesson learned. I've played with Expressive before, but I always thought it was the Exile was the second one, I believe, not the last one. But let me read it real quick. I play this in real life. In real life, you just you pick 3 cards. You do whatever. Like, most of the time, your opponent doesn't really care. You don't really have to go in order. But in the game, it makes you go in order. So you put it in the hand for sure. So the bottom of the deck is the second one. So what I was planning on doing that turn was, add one to consider, exile the land, put the land in the grave, play the bolus, have him try to deal with it. But unfortunately, I kind of screwed that one up. Alright, let's keep the full hand. It's a bit of a painful hand, but I think we can work with it. we could watery and then blood and then try to Croxa out. Assuming we're not playing against something really heavily aggro here. Chances are I might not want to Croxa to get his to allow him to get Delirium up quicker. I could just do this so he doesn't get the Seville trigger off of that. Am taking quite a bit of damage. It's fine. I guess it's a good thing we didn't force him to discard with Croxa, because we're playing against sort of a red madness deck. Remember, they can kind of be kind of crazy. This match is kind of bad because they have so much madness stuff. It's hard to say if doing this is even worth it. But we're gonna try it. Because he could just pump this thing up, and I don't want that thing to hit us. Mage Phoenix, yeah, it's gonna be a rough matchup. It might be a slow... We might be able to just drain his hand. You know, all the cards possible. But we're gonna be taking a lot of damage from ourselves. The Phoenix won't do anything if they are just by themselves, you know what I mean? Well, I definitely don't want to do that. I think this is the best hit. I think I want to do Colligan's now. Force him to use... If he discards this with Colligan, he's going to have to pay the 3 just to use it now. But he'll only have 1 spell left in hand. And I think we should theoretically be able to deal with it. Because I just don't want him to be able to have the opportunity to cast the Archmage. It's fine. Oh, does he have another 1 mana card? No, okay. We're really running low on life, and that was just the risk of doing that.
My schemes are never ending.
We're gonna try to race him for control here.
My intellect is without limit.
Maybe I could have played the Consider, just in case I do end up drawing a land. Fine. We have the Bolus out to block the Phoenix in case. What do I want to do next turn with my mana? I don't think I want more Considers. I think we do want a land of some kind. Okay.
Witness a mote of my power.
I'm gonna set up for Croxa. Oh, by setup I mean just casting. I guess in case I ever get it back. We're gonna try to push for a lot of damage. It might be a bit of a risky strategy. Because next turn, if I swing with Bolus, I don't know if I run the risk of him being able to cast Phoenix and smacking me with it, and just like, you know, bolting me or something. I think I have lethal regardless of what he does next turn. I can deal potentially 13. Oh, no, that's 13 damage. So I'm a little bit short, so I'm just gonna go ahead and attack here. It's risky. It really is risky. I can Drown and Lock, kill something, um, but we will indeed lose to like a bolt, you know, something like that, some crazy stuff. Okay. If he attacks with the oh, double Phoenix, that is crazy. Okay. I think we win. Yeah, I think we got it. Unless he can deal another damage somehow. Okay. That's fine. If he wants to take care of my Bolus rather than me, I am more than willing to trade Bolus's loyalty. Um, he might just attack once and leave the other one to block the Bolus. He's also at risk of just straight up dying also. I think we got it. We could just pop something with the Bolus. Kill this thing with like Drown and Lock and just swing for game. I don't even know why I need to think about this, to be honest.
Defiance has consequence.
There you go. Tough choice for him. Close game though. He didn't do much damage to me. I did more damage to me than anything. That's just the the thing with playing shock lands. You're just gonna be pinging yourself in the face for a billion damage against aggro, and it's always a little risky. Okay, well there you go. For the most part, I think the deck did pretty well. Couple of times, maybe a little iffy on the land, but I think we drew the lands and were able to find the lands that we needed. There wasn't maybe one time I think I wanted more, but consider did work. Filled up my graveyard. Search was able to find me lands on one of the games there. Yeah, Colgan's put in work. Pismari, the one of, was okay. You know, if I didn't play it incorrectly, it filled my graveyard up, and I was able to get Crocs out. At the same time, I was able to potentially drop the Bolus the next turn, the 4-mana one. When I did that play with the Consider and Expressive, I just messed up the order on that, but we were able to still win from there. Yeah, the Bolus here was great. Good finishing card, good final threat. My opponents couldn't really deal with it when I dropped it on the board. They had to, attack it or do something with it. It also serves as some extra life in case they need to attack it. In that case, where he was debating whether to just attack my Bolus or not. I don't know if he realized Bolus could have just popped his card for 3 mana, or for free loyalty. Maybe he was thinking I wasn't gonna do that. That I was just gonna, or I didn't have a way of getting rid of one of his creatures. Obviously, the Drown and Lock, he didn't know I had that. I think he might have saw that I had Infernals and maybe Push. I don't quite remember. But yeah, I just popped his creatures, destroyed them, and just attacked for 13 damage there. Yeah, Croxos, I think we saw them enough times. I don't think I need to bump the numbers up anymore than I needed to. To Fairy was fine. Obviously, the only time I thought he wasn't great was against either a really wide board, perhaps, or against the mono green aggro deck, I couldn't really answer his board quick enough to do anything with it. But against like the mono black and the other deck that I was able to have him come down, he was fine. Dig through and pitch cards that I didn't need. Best thing about him is you can start pitching the thought seizes that you're probably not going to cast for the rest of the game, especially because you're forcing your opponent to discard so much. There's time where they're not going to have anything in your hand, and you'd rather trade this for anything else. You'd rather trade it for a land, you'd rather trade it for pretty much anything in the deck, and that would be fine. Um, Also, puts, like, as you can see, my graveyard was filling up pretty nicely. It wasn't really a time where I didn't think I could cast Croxa. Um, that one game I cast him what, twice, 3 times. Yeah, like 15 cards in the grave, so that was great. So yeah, overall, I think the curve is pretty decent. Maybe it could be lowered a little bit. Um, Maybe the mana base could be a little bit better, or if I wasn't messing up with the expressive and the consider so much. Um, Infernal helped okay. Wasn't terrible. Wasn't didn't left a impression on me, I guess. But it's still a good card. I still really like it. Um, I guess the one thing in this deck I would like would be to have some life gain. Um, then again, even with my Esper deck, I didn't really have any real way to gain life outside of intervention, I guess. If I'm spelling it correctly. Nope, I can't spell intervention. Something's a white card. I think it was a white card. That's why it's not popping up. No, I'm just not spelling it. Helios is intervention, where you destroy a bunch of cards or you heal some life off of it. Or Kaya, the 3-mana Kaya Planeswalker. When she exiles, you can, heal the life if you're playing against green. It's the God card that always gets me. I always forget his name. The Simic, or not Simic, the Gruul God. If I have a copy of him, I don't think I do. Let me search for him real quick. This one here. I can never pronounce his name, but yeah, this guy is always a great clock, or girl, I guess. I always thought it was a guy. Never really looked at the picture, but yeah, him healing and paying 2 to you. Um, yeah, it's always difficult to deal with him, and then she or he never becomes a creature that you have to deal with. Most of the time, at least in my experiences, they always sit there and you just can't remove it. And the only real way to remove it is just to either remove the player or you have to bounce it back somehow. In Esper, it's great. You can just use Teferi. I think in multiple games I've played, I've just used Teferi to shuffle it back to deck, counter it when it does pop up again. In this deck, there's not any way to deal with him, and we would be a little weak to it because he can just hit Croxa, remove it from our graveyard, and we really don't have anything to work with all the stuff in the grave. Same time, Grixis doesn't really have any way of dealing with enchantments, just being the colors that we're given. There's maybe one or two. You have Feed the Swarm, which doesn't work against him because he has Indestructible, so Feed the Swarm doesn't do anything per se. The only other one is the one that where I think it's Finka's something with, it's a 3-mana, 1 colorless, or 2 colorless, 1 black, where the instant your opponent sacrifices creature, enchantment, or yeah, I think it's those are 2 effects. I forgot the name of it. Let me look it up real quick. And I used to play it in standard, and it was a good card. Here we go. So this card is the only other way that we as black, red, blue can kind of deal with enchantments, especially indestructible ones. I don't really know of any other efficient or effective way to deal with it. And obviously, this is kind of an expensive card. It's 3 mana. If it was 2 mana, it would have been perfect. It would fit into. I would definitely play this. In sideboard if anything. I guess our only other way of dealing with it, I think. I'm not sure if grass can deal with it. I'm thinking about the 2 mana one. Yeah, this one right here. Exile target creature or planeswalker. So this doesn't exactly deal with it. You have to wait until it becomes a creature before Noxious Grass even works. And the problem with that is, like I said, most of the time it will never become a creature, so you'll never be able to get it to have it removed. I guess the other one I totally forgot about is Aether Gust. So Aether Gust is great. It's sort of a miniature, I guess, kind of like a memory lapse that acts as both a counter spell and a removal. I definitely like this, and that's another way that you can try to remove it. So there's a potential for you can play more than just two. I've only played two because I don't want to side too hard against green and red. But I guess those are the two colors I would have the most difficulties with in this particular deck. So stands a reason to that you can potentially play three of these in the side. I wouldn't play it in the main. I'd rather play like Memory Lapse and more kind of like generic good cards rather than really specify ones like Aether Gust and Dispute. Um, yeah, I think that's the only other way. Because I played this in Modern, namely to get rid of Blood Moons and things like that. So good thing in this format we don't have to deal with Blood Moon. Otherwise it'd make me really sad. But yeah, so that Aether Gust, you could potentially add that into the deck if you feel like you're playing against a lot of red, green color decks, which there's an argument that there's a lot of that in this format. Um, Not too many monocolor decks. You can run into the occasional black, mono green. Well, I mean, I guess this is great against mono green and mono red. The only other monocolor I see is mostly black. You'll see white occasionally, but not too much. Weenie whites have been kind of on and off for most people, and mono blue, not too much mono blue either. So, yeah, it might be good to have a few copies of this in either your sideboard or your main. In terms of a mana base, I think it worked fine. Got most of the colors I needed. Um, and yeah, the basics. It only came in that one time where our opponent was trying to destroy our land. Is that cool? We're just grabbing their basic. So I always think there's always a valid reason to play the basics in any format. At least a couple. You can play maybe one or two, maybe three basics. I'm only playing five basics because you kind of need to with the fables. And these are food for your Croxa and also food for Fatal Push, and that does come up quite often. And sometimes it's better to not crack your Fable. I also play Fable to thin out my deck. I mean that doesn't really play too much. Um, Too much. And statistically, I guess it doesn't really better your chances of not drawing your basics um, or flooding out. I guess that by that much. But if I can thin out my deck, I will thin out my deck whenever possible. I play Yu-Gi-Oh, so we always play a lot. If the thing with Yu-Gi-Oh is, there's a cantrip card, and it got essentially limited and borderline banned because people were just playing it just so they can thin out their deck and because there's no cost to really playing that cantrip card. And at least in Magic, the cantrip card costs some mana to play, and so you can you know don't want to play too many unless your deck can make get value off of it, either by dumping it into your graveyard, which you can escape or delve or something, or if you're playing like Phoenix or something where you need to cast a lot of like low cost spells, then play all the cantrips in the world that you want. But this particular deck, I don't need that many cantrips. I'm already digging through my decks with Search and Expressive. Um, I mean, if you want to, you could not play the Search. You could maybe lower the Expressive and play a little bit more one mana cantrips like the Ops. There's an argument for that. Uh, so either way it works, but I think I like the Search just to get value off of it later, and it being a potentially 24th, 25th land, and it getting value later down the line by just tapping and searching. And the one card I haven't really missed is Narset. I used to play Narset in this deck, and she she would just be my kind of my go-to 3 mana card slot. Yeah, but so far I don't feel like I need to play her. She could go in the side deck, in the sideboard. If you're playing against, I guess, Jeskai Control, any deck that's playing Archmage Charm, playing a lot of cantrips. She is weak to Shark, and she is weak to aggro. So, but she's great against Teferi, great against even Bolus here. Oftentimes you either choose to -3 loyalty to kill a 1 loyalty Narset, or you just try to plus plussing up with the Bolus. Your opponent exiles a card, but they're usually exiling some land that they don't need, so you're not really doing anything with the Bolus when Narset's on board. Same with Teferi, you either -3 on Teferi to hit the Narset, put it back to deck, but you're gonna have to deal with it again in the next couple of turns, or do you just keep upticking Teferi, trying to ult with him, but you're not getting any advantage. You're getting a mana refund, but Jeskai decks, they're not really spending that much mana on their turn anyways. They're usually playing on your turn. Same thing with my Esper deck. The thing with my Esper deck is I have ways to remove Narset with because I do play black, so I have access to Planeswalker removal cards, cheap ones at least. So didn't feel like I needed to really had too much trouble with Narset in my deck. So anyways, so I'm gonna end the stream there, or the recording. So probably upload this later today or tomorrow or something like that. Yeah, hope you guys enjoy. See you guys next time.